Welcome back to our IFTA Conference 2020 series. And today I'm really happy and looking forward to interviewing our next guest, Wieland Arlt, our IFTA President, but also the conference head of the 2020 conference and contributor as a trader, professional trader on his expanded strategy. Wieland, welcome.
Thank you, Ron. I'm so happy to be here and to talk with you about trading and technical analysis, IFTA, the conference, and whatever topic we will find out to talk about. So thanks for having me, and thank you for all the kind words.
Well, it's been really exciting. I mean, on so many levels. I mean, start up by maybe giving the backstory to our audience that are watching. Maybe just to have a better idea, we actually met as conference organizers several months, kind of working really hard in the planning stages. You headed up the team effort, but also, there were many other things that you were taking responsibilities for. So if we could begin with now as IFTA President, and then rewind back then as head of the conference team, and then also one of the contributors as a professional trader, all of those different hats. What was your experience? What were the key lessons?
Well, first of all, when I started being an IFTA member, like in the board of directors, it was like, let's say, May 2020. It was very fresh inside the whole organization, and I was thrown like into really cold water. The background was that I was talking with our dear colleague, Karin Roller, and asked, hey, Karin, I really would like to bring myself a little bit more in. I will contribute a little bit more. Is there something to do in IFTA? And she said, yes, okay. Of course there is. You can organize our online conference. I said, excuse me? Online conference? Is there a blueprint or something like that? No. You can start from scratch. And this is what I did, actually. And luckily, and I was very happy to meet you from the very beginning on. And she said, okay, you can directly talk with Ron, and he is very keen on supporting you and bringing things further. And this was really some kind of adventure. And luckily, it went well, right? So it could have gone the other way around and could be a complete disaster, which it wasn't. And this was very, very exciting for me.
Well, likewise. And hey, what's interesting is that I mean, I've had the grateful experience of working on prior conferences in a whole range of areas, from Egypt 2019 to Malaysia, San Francisco, and a few other spots that I'm sure I've missed on the list. But what made this conference so different from any other one that IFTA has hosted is the fact that it was online, number one. Yeah. Number two, 24 hours. So I don't want to steal your thunder, because there's so much I could say on this alone, being on the team. But from your perspective, Wieland, what are those two ingredient combinations, online for the first time ever and 24 hours? What was that like, do you think, for the team and for the organization?
Somehow, I don't know really what happened, but there was some kind of magic in it, because this concept was new, it was fresh. We had really an engaged team committed to everything we did. And we were in some kind of a flow. It was really amazing. And I really don't know how this happened, but it happened. It was magic. And this magic, I think everybody who has attended the conference got a bit of this magic too. We had a Facebook group with a lot of engagement. People were chatting and asking, and there were literally people watching 24 hours, like from the very beginning, Sydney, 10 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. in Europe, which was then the end of the American session. They were from the very beginning to the very end, to my last words of the 24 hours. And so was our team. So quite a lot of us had just barely slept, just a couple of hours or so. And this was amazing. We had magic, and I was asking some questions in the Facebook group that, hey guys, are you still there? How is it going? And people were answering, yeah, I'm here for 24 hours. So I will go with you the whole day and the whole conference. And this was really amazing.
It was really fantastic, and I think it's surpassed expectations, certainly in terms of the all-in effort that people put in, not just the team organizers or the sponsors, speakers, but the audience as well. And I mean, in
Yeah.
the end, it worked out to be, I think, approximately 5,000 audience members that attended. Also, I think credit to the wonderful speaker lineup we had. Like we had it was a trader theme,
Yeah.
with, led by people like Linda Raschke, Larry Williams, but also John Bollinger, and we had a good European trader name from Germany. If you could say a little bit about Raul, because I know that you've done some interview work with him.
Yeah, so there was this guy shown up. I literally I didn't know him. This Raul with his AI trading, and I read some kind of, well, I stumbled about some Facebook post of him, and it said, "Hey, I'm number one in the championship." I said, "He's number one. Okay, that's okay." So this is what happens literally every day. But he's number one with trading AI in the Forex market. I asked myself, what is this? And so I asked him, so what are you doing really? And he said, well, I'm trading with algorithms. And I asked him, well, do you use charts? He said, no, I don't look at any charts at all. And this was really amazing. So I asked myself, how is this possible? In being number one, really leading World Cup, Robin's World Cup Championship, wow, without looking at any charts. And this was very amazing. And so I asked him, not just only for some interviews or so, but I also asked him to be a speaker on the conference. And he had this presentation about how to build a money printing machine with AI. And this was very successful. So people were really enjoying his presentation, and there were a lot of questions. And so also here we had this connection between Zoom and the conference and the Facebook group, and the Facebook group went wild. So this was also great.
And it was great to kind of combine let's say the old traditional tried and tested trading techniques with the new, as you just mentioned there. So it was maybe a nice blend of past, present, and future. And maybe circling back to your presentation, so how to catch the big swings with one simple strategy. I know it has the ingredients of Bollinger Bands, candle patterns, but again, it's best for you to describe the strategy. What were the key takeaways?
Well, actually, it's like some, well, just start from the beginning of the strategy. As a trader, you need a strategy that suits and that fits to yourself as character, in your mind, how you behave, how you think. Of course, there are a lot of strategies out there. And if you ask a trader, you get a strategy that he uses, which is perfectly fine. But the question is the strategy I hear from somebody else, the strategies that fits to me, to my mindset, to the way I think, and to the way I act. And somehow of course, I read the book by John Bollinger about his Bollinger Bands, and I was really amazed. It's a great book, and I love Bollinger Bands, and I'm so grateful that John invented these bands back in the 1980s. And honestly speaking, having him as a conference director in the conference, speaking with John Bollinger in person, was a great experience for me. So just being said this. And thinking about Bollinger Bands as a strategy. So what are the most important takeaways of the expander strategy, which is behind catching the big swings, is one simple strategy, is that you use, or what I do, I use Bollinger Bands as a sign if a move is some kind of overstretched and likely to reverse. So this is the main idea. And of course, there's a quote I have also in the presentation. It goes like, never, it's a reset quote. So it's like the idea behind that quote. So never misjudge touching the band as a trading signal, which is perfectly true, because if the price touches the band, it just says nothing. It just says that the price is a bit too high compared, or too low compared to its average. That's literally everything it says. and it's beginning to overstretch. But what you don't really know is if this overstretching is going on or not. So if it's overbought, oversold, it's like, yeah, it's on the way being over and over overstretched, but not really some kind of reversal going on or just about to happen. And in the strategy, I introduced candlesticks. Of course, there are regular candlesticks where you can read there is some kind of reversal, not just about to happen, but already going on, because market participants already changed direction. This is what you can read from the candles. And if you combine this, then you have, from my point of view, a perfect strategy showing you, first of all, price is way overbought or oversold. Second, it's overstretched as it can be. That's why it's an expander. So everybody used this old-fashioned training material, like being in the gym. And what happens if you open a hand? It snaps back. And this is what happens to the price. So it's, first of all, it's a mean reversion strategy. It's a mean reversion coming from being overstretched, going at least to its average, which is the 20 simple moving average, the middle of the Bollinger Bands, and maybe if it's way too overstretched, going to the other side. And if you watch a chart very closely and just see where prices are moving, this is happening all over again in every asset, in every time frame. And this is what I have as my presentation. That was the idea.
And I mean, what's exciting and interesting about the last part of what you just said, 2 points in terms of the overbought, oversold, or the market extreme move situation. The kind of the first time traders, or let's say the default mistake club, tend to sell immediately when the market looks like it's overbought, or buy immediately when it looks oversold, and they get caught out. It becomes a death trap to so many traders. And so it's a great point that you made. It's not just the touching of the band based upon the quote from John Bollinger. It needs to be more meaningful than that. And so it seems that you've added some price and time filter that will really kind of add as a strong confirmation. And just to build on that, I notice great use of candlestick patterns. I'm a big fan of candle patterns, and I think many of our members are too.
Sure.
Which patterns did you kind of, in your experience, work best?
Yeah, so the most simple ones, and I think the well-known are hammer and shooting star, because this are a single period candlestick, and it shows exactly, from my point of view, a hammer or shooting star is a picture of pain. Because just imagine what happens when a hammer forms. The price goes up and up and up and up, and this candlestick has been green, completely green, right? And somewhere, like the highest price, there is some poor trader still buying. And this poor trader is the last person ever who made the deal. He built the top. And from that point on, price dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And all the buyers are in pain, in deep pain. And what's left from all the buying and the big green candle is just a shadow of itself, with just a little portion of green, of like, maybe it's not even green, it's red already. And you see just a little candlestick body, but a long, long, long tail, like upper shadow or lower shadow in case of the hammer, and the upper shadow in case of the shooting star. So this picture of pain shows that the reversal is not just likely to happen, it has already happened. And this is what I love about these candlesticks, and what I love especially about the hammer and the shooting star. And of course, there are combinations with two candles, like piercing pattern, dark cloud cover, which is, if you put them together in combination, the same as hammer and shooting star. And if you do it even more powerful, you use, or you watch out for the bearish and bullish engulfing, which really just pushes the former candle away. It neglects it. And it shows really that this is what you're waiting for as a trader is already right now here. People are doing what you are waiting for. And this is a perfect situation for an entry and an exit. And also, talking about risk management, it gives you a perfect indication if you're on the wrong side of the trade. Because if the market is powerful enough to eliminate some kind of hammer or shooting star or engulfing pattern or piercing pattern or dark cloud cover, candles combination like this, if it's so powerful, definitely you're on the wrong side of the trade and you won't stay in there. Of course, you have to exit the trade with a loss.
Now,
but it's really, really, really important.
And to kind of complete the picture, what would you say is the main edge of the expander strategy? So for people maybe who either attended your presentation or maybe haven't, but they're looking for that engagement factor, what would you say?
Well, the main edge of strategy is that you really get a clear indication. You get a clear sign. Price is overstretched, likely to reverse. Of course, you don't know how far, and that's very important. But it's overstretched, it's likely to reverse. But what you don't know is when will it reverse? Combining it with candlesticks, it shows you, yes, the reversal is here. And you have clear targets, like middle of the Bollinger Bands as a mean reversion, or maybe also the other side of the Bollinger Bands, just for swings. And this is what I really, in my terms, call swing trading. So you trade the swings, and you trade the swings from the perfect spots, from the high to the low. And it's very likely, and happens pretty often, that the market and the price reverses also on the other side of the Bollinger Bands. You can play a little bit ping pong. Sometimes this really works out pretty well, especially if the market moves some kind in a sideways range, in a trading range. So this is one edge. Second edge is that, of course, using these candlestick patterns or signs, you get a clear indication if you're on the wrong side of the trades, because if like a shooting star is overrun by the buyers, there's no need to sell anything because you're on the wrong side. So you have to exit with a clear indication also. So these are the two edges. And putting some statistics in it. If you read the book or you study Bollinger Bands, you know that 90% of all prices are inside of the Bollinger Bands. So rounded 90%. That says that 10%, about 10% of the prices are outside. So these are some kind of exception. This is a minority. And everything that's inside is a majority. So whenever price shoots out of the bands, you have a quite good indication that it will return into the bands, because 10%, 90%. If you combine this with the candlesticks, a shooting star and a hammer have they have a probability of entry about 60%, and it goes up to 80% coming to the engulfing pattern. So this is what has been studied by Thomas Bukowski. And if you combine this is really a great edge.
Just a quick shout out there, since you mentioned the book, in addition to the takeaways, I know there's a German translation for many of the VTAD members or just German traders around the world who would like to read the Thomas Bukowski book. Great book on candlesticks, written by an engineer background trader. So a lot of good statistical work in there.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And it gives you the insights you really need. Because if you build a strategy, if it's simple or complicated, so it's up to you, but you need to build some kind of trust. And if you read these numbers, 60 to 80% probability of entrance, and also 10%, 90% according to the Bollinger Bands, this gives me very, very high trust in my strategy.
And from a point of education, which is always at the heart of IFTA's mission and very much ongoing kind of future development, where can people go to learn more about, the the presentation that you gave, but also the work that you do in that space.
Yeah. So first of all, at IFTA, in the IFTA member area, I mean, we have worldwide 7,700, 800 about that members. So everybody who is an IFTA member in some of our member societies can see this presentation in member area of IFTA, of course, or in the local member society area. I have it on my website as it's a video course, it's a video, and it's for free. Website is torero-traders-school.com, or you can find me on Google, of course, as well. So this is where you can read or see something more about the expander strategy. And on my website, of course, there are all the other offers, like, yeah, whatever I do, like coachings and books and podcasts and all this stuff.
I'm happy to say that I just started reading the book that you published some time ago, which is now in English, which is great.
Yeah.
And as part of that, it's quite a big focus. I mean, as the title suggests, risk and money management. My question to you, I mean, how much depth do you go into the book, and how much of a compliment is that to the presentation that you gave at the conference?
Well, presentation and book, they have what they have in common is, of course, that you need to use a stop loss. Honestly speaking, whenever I lose money in trading, it's because maybe I was not so hard with my stops. Hey, I give a little room. No, you don't, because you have a clear indication if the market is going against you. Clear indication. There's no need to give a little bit more room. So this is what they have in common. The book itself is about risk management, as it says, and it is, well, why do people write books, or why do people write articles about trading? Because, and this is in my case, it's what comes from your own thoughts. So I was thinking about, hey, how can I make my trading better? How can I do more profits? How can I have less and smaller losses? How can I do this? And what impact does this have on my account and on my, well, on my performance? And I have thought about a lot of things, and then I thought, okay, you need to write a book about this. And the book is, at the end, it's a result of all of my thoughts. And the idea of risk and money management, of course, it's a basic idea, but there's quite a lot behind it. Because if you do it really in a proper way, you can enhance your performance in a very, very, very great way. So you can do really, like, take care of not only your own risk, but also take care about your risk reward ratio, your trading frequency, and of course, of your hit rate. And if you think about these 4 components, and I write about this in the book, and you change something in these 4 components, you have a very big impact on your performance. And these are perfect coaching indicators as well.
And it's a great point, which is often understated or not properly understood, because even if we had the holy grail strategy, which I've been looking for years, wasn't able to find it. I mean, clearly we have an edge, but even with that edge, risk money management is everything.
It is. It is. It is.
What I found,
I think it's pretty clear. So whenever you open a trade, you can have the perfect holy grail strategy. You can use everything we offer as analysts. Everything plays into one chart, and you can turn this trade into a losing trade. Why? No management. It's all about management. And management means, of course, risk management. Hey, when do I exit my trade in case of being a loser? You can let a loser run forever, but then you're broke. And also, second question you have to answer for yourself. When will I exit my trade in case it's a winner? Because in a volatile market, if you don't take your cards from the table and exit your trade with a profit, it will be a loser again. So from my point of view, it's not really the strategy which makes the difference. It's management which makes a difference.
And just one final question on the work of the presentation and the complementary book.
Yeah.
I noticed at the end of the book, chapter 7, success can be planned. I mean, from my perspective, I'm really interested in the work of trade psychology, behavioral finance. It's a real area of specialization, and I enjoy coaching traders as I know you do in this space. It's an interesting point. Success can be planned, but also you then supplement it with in small steps to the big goal. So this idea of micro, macro, taking baby steps, and then the final net outcome hitting that long-term target. Any kind of clear insights you could share, because this is such an important point for so many traders out there.
It is. So there are so many ideas behind these or the last chapter. So first one is, and I'm pretty sure like every trader who begins trading has this magic Excel sheet, and where you can calculate yourself being rich within a couple of months or being broke within a couple of months. You can do it either way.
Right.
And it's all about mathematics. It's about an account grows. So whenever you're profitable, whenever you make a profit, your account grows, and then your basis for risk management and also for position management, for position size becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's all a matter of interest and the interest of the interest, right? But the question is, if everybody has this sheet, and I'm pretty sure, Ron, you also have it somewhere hidden on your computer, the same as I have. If we all have this, and it's really possible in mathematical terms, no problem. With easy management, and that's an interesting point, and still we are not able to achieve this. Why? It's not because the market doesn't offer all this really great opportunities. Because what I figured out in the book is, just imagine a year or whatever time frame you use, 100 trades, 1% risk, 1.5 risk reward ratio, and you have a hit rate of 50%. Turns out is a total profit of 25%. And I'm pretty sure these are very, very light numbers. 100 trades, 1.5. So in general, as an outcome, it's easy. But still, we are not able to do this. Why? Happening here.
And it's interesting because I mean, a lot of traders will focus on the performance target. It's a natural thing. It's a bottom line industry, and it's profit driven. But at the end of the day, we need to progress from one skill set development to the next, and so that's what can be planned. It's the planning of evolving, developing a resilient mindset in order to get that big goal, as you mentioned.
Right. And to reach the big goal means you need to have small steps. Just for example, you're day trading. Like, let's say you do $100 per day, you target this. Of course, you won't get $100 a day by day by day by day. There will be losing days, but if you have proper risk management, these losing days won't kill your account or destroy all your performance of the last weeks. Maybe will destroy your performance of last 2 days or so, but this is what you can, where you can go from to the future. And if you say, okay, I like to have an average like $100 or euro a day, this is what you can do. This is what you can do also with a small account. Of course, you need a lever, but you can also do this with a small account. But you need to wait for it. And it's day by day by day by day, every day. And if you're not a day trader, so maybe you're trading end of the day, like swing trading, okay. So that takes a little bit longer, but it's the same situation. €100, $100 day or week by week, month by month, doesn't matter. And this is, if you calculate this with a sheet, this is what mathematics does. And that's all what it is.
Trust the process, be patient with the outcome, and ensure a kind of a forward progress. It's great insights on top of the presentation and the resource that people can follow up with in terms of the book and the links that you suggested. Now it kind of brings me to circling back to the starting line of our interview, Wieland. Now as IFTA President, looking forward, what's your key vision in a few insights? I look forward to speaking more about this in future, but for now, just to wrap up and to leave kind of a picture or a vision for IFTA members.
Sure, Ron. I think as an organization, we are thrown into some kind of transition mode. We are thrown not only by digitalization, not only by the pandemic situation we were facing in 2020, and still right now it's February 21, we're still in the situation. A lot of things are changing, and luckily, and this is what I really can say, I know that lockdown, pandemic situations is very bad for all of us. But if you go to the positive view, it gives you also a clear insight of where you have to do your homework. And homework means we have to go over with digitalization. And this means, of course, we do our conference, I hope so, in the future, again, in person, somewhere in the world where our member societies are. I would love to go there and meet everybody in person, because the two of us, we just made friends online. So we never have met in person so far. This is strange, right? and still, this is some kind of a homework for IFTA, as well as for any other organization. Like in Germany, the VTAD, we have done the same homework, and there's still something to do. Second, as it turned out from the conference with about 5,000 attendees, we figured out that a lot of these, like 2/3 of all of the attendees, were coming from Asia, which gives a clear indication about future markets for technical analysis, for trading, and also therefore for IFTA. And if you have thought back in the past, well, the Western universe, like America, the US, Europe, okay, still going on, but there is quite a lot of interest in technical analysis, in professional analysis in Asia. And this will be one focus for IFTA, to be more engaged over in Asia. Of course, this is what we will do. Third, it also turned out, and this is just by numbers, that we have a lot of private investors as attendees in our conference. In our previous conferences, in person, somewhere in the world, there were more institutional visitors, delegates from our friends somewhere in the world, but more institutional ones, lesser private ones. And it turned completely with this online conference. Why? Because it was easy accessible, and it was for free, of course. So it's very easy to register and then just see some presentations. But it shows also that the demand for proper education in the private sector of analysis and trading is very high. And this is what I also think is some future aspect for IFTA, to have there a proper education program on a professional worldwide level, compiled by the best experts in the world for private investors. And this will be outstanding. And the last one I'm thinking about will be very important for our institutional members, of course, will be everything about quantitative analysis. Because, and now we return back to AI again. If there's someone very successful in trading without looking at charts, there's some kind of call to action for us to offer something that gives people the knowledge in hand to do the same and go into programming, go using really also artificial intelligence, quantitative analysis, of course, this will not be like, hey, you learn Python from 0 to hero, but it gives you some kind of idea how to use this and what you can do with the knowledge of technical analysis from back in the days, 1600, whatever, to now, okay, now the computer can do the job. But of course, you need to know what you're programming inside. So of course, you need to do your homework first, and then you can go over to quantitative analysis as well. So these are the ideas, and this is the vision, and this is quite a lot for IFTA.
Wonderful. So plenty to look forward to in this new year of 2021 and beyond. Thank you so much, Wieland, for being our guest today as part of the new IFTA TV series.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much for the invitation. All the best to you and all the traders and analysts outside. All the best. Bye.
Thank you very much. And please, if you enjoyed this session, feel free to share, like, and comment. We really look forward to learning more about your experiences and look forward to delivering more content in the future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.